AI agents are absolutely everywhere now, right? They're popping up in our developer tools, they're running customer service chats. They are fundamentally changing how we get things done. But with this incredible explosion comes this huge make or break question. How do we actually trust them?
And yeah, that really is the big question. When we're relying on these agents for, everything from simple questions to really complex jobs, how can we be sure they're not just going to go off the rails? How do we know they're safe, accurate, and reliable? That's the puzzle we're going to unpack in this explainer.
So, the heart of the issue is really baked into the very nature of modern AI. It's a problem of predictability, or more accurately, the complete lack of it.
Think about it. Traditional software follows a very strict set of rules. If this, then that. But AI agents, they're designed to be dynamic. They learn, they adapt, and they interact in ways that are, frankly, unpredictable. And that makes it incredibly difficult to guarantee their performance before you release them out into the wild. This right here shows the huge gap in how we do things. See, traditional testing was built for that predictable world, where you're just checking if input A always gives you output B. But for the fluid, conversational world of AI agents, that whole model just completely falls apart. The old rulebook just doesn't apply anymore. So, if the old way is broken, what's the solution? Well, it takes a totally new way of thinking. It turns out, to really truly test an AI, you need another AI. And that brings us to this really cool concept, agent-to-agent testing. The whole idea is to use a team of specialized AI testing agents. Their only job is to rigorously poke, prod, and validate other AIs, from chatbots to voice assistants, checking everything from their logic to their personality. And hey, this isn't just a theory. To give you a real-world example, the AI-native testing company LambdaTest just launched a platform that's actually the world's first to be built specifically for this. It's a pretty big deal that aims to totally change how we validate our AI. Okay, so how does a system like this actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside the engine, which is all built around what's called a multi-agent system. So at its heart, the process is pretty straightforward, just 3 steps. First, the development team uploads all their existing requirement documents. Then, the system's AI agents get to work reading those documents and automatically dreaming up all the test scenarios. And finally, those tests are run, and the AI's responses are carefully evaluated. And we're not just talking about reading a simple text file either. The system does what's called multimodal analysis, which is a fancy way of saying it can understand requirements from text, images, audio, even video. This is huge because it lets it create way more realistic and tough challenges that mimic the real world. Now, what's really powerful here is that it's not just one AI doing all the work. It's a whole team of over 15 specialists. You've got agents that act like security researchers, trying to find vulnerabilities. You have compliance validators, making sure all the rules are followed. You even have agents that check for something as subtle as the tone of personality. It's wild. Another really smart choice here is using multiple large language models, LMMs, to do the thinking and test generation. Think of it like this. Using just one LMM is like getting a single expert's opinion. But using multiple LMMs, that's like putting together a whole panel of diverse experts. You just get a much deeper, more robust set of tests out of it. All right, so the tech is obviously super advanced, but what's the actual payoff? What does this mean for businesses and for us as users? Well, it really boils down to 2 things, speed and confidence. First up, speed. By plugging into LambdaTest's orchestration cloud HyperExecute, these super complex tests can actually run up to 70% faster than on your standard automation grids. For dev teams, that means getting feedback and making improvements way faster. Second, and this is maybe even more important, is this giant leap in coverage. A multi-agent system like this can generate a 5 to 10-fold increase in test coverage. That means it finds way more potential problems than the old methods, giving you a much clearer picture of how that AI is really performing. And the evaluation it does goes deep. It's not just a simple pass or fail. The platform digs into key quality metrics, like hidden bias in the AI's answers, the completeness of its responses, and, critically, it checks for hallucinations, those moments where the AI just confidently makes things up. Asad Khan, the CEO of LambdaTest, put it really well. He says the platform is designed to think like a real, sometimes unpredictable user. It's actively looking for and creating those tricky, real-world situations that your AI might struggle with, pushing it to its limits in a safe environment. So at the end of the day, this isn't just about writing better code. It's about building trust. For all of us who use AI-powered services every day, this new kind of testing helps make sure that the AI we're talking to is as robust, as safe, and as reliable as it can possibly be.
This whole idea represents a massive step forward in solving the AI testing problem. But it also opens up a fascinating new question, doesn't it? As we start building these complex systems of AIs that test other AIs, we have to ask, what's the next frontier for keeping things safe and high quality in a world where our creations are becoming more and more autonomous? It's definitely something to think about.